A flash of light. A staff transforms into a serpent. The crowd gasps in terror. Is it magic? Is it real? Or is it something far more dangerous? Throughout history, sorcery has captivated humanity. Kings used it to control masses. Magicians used it to deceive the innocent. But what does Islam say about this dark art? This is not just a story about magic tricks. This is a story about two angels sent to test mankind. This is a story about magicians who challenged a prophet. This is a story about a power that can destroy faith itself. Welcome to the untold truth of sorcery in Islam. Long before Islam, magic was practiced in ancient civilizations: Babylon, Egypt, Persia. People believed magicians could control the elements, read the future, even change destiny itself. But when the final revelation came, when the Quran descended upon Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the truth about sorcery was finally revealed. The Quran doesn't deny that magic exists. In fact, it confirms it. But it also warns us about its devastating consequences. In Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 102, Allah the Almighty says, "And they followed what the devils had recited during the reign of Solomon. It was not Solomon who disbelieved, but the devils disbelieved, teaching people magic." This verse opens a door to one of the most mysterious stories in Islamic history, the story of two angels, Harut and Marut, the city of Babylon, an ancient land of great knowledge and great corruption. People had started to associate magic with the righteous prophet Solomon, peace be upon him. They claimed he ruled his kingdom through sorcery and dark powers. But Allah cleared Solomon's name in the Quran. Solomon never practiced magic. He was a prophet, a righteous servant of God. However, after his time, devils began teaching people magic, claiming it was Solomon's legacy. And then came the test, a test unlike any other. Allah sent two angels to earth, Harut and Marut. Their mission was not to guide, but to test. According to the tafsir of Ibn Kathir, these two angels were sent to Babylon with knowledge of magic, but they were not sent to spread evil. They were sent to expose it. The Quran states in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 102, "And they taught no one unless they said, 'We are only a trial, so do not disbelieve.'" Imagine this scene. Two beings of light descending into a city of darkness. They possessed knowledge that could separate a man from his wife, create illusions, manipulate minds. But before teaching anyone, they gave a clear warning. "We are a test from Allah. Do not use this knowledge to disbelieve." Some people heeded the warning. They walked away. But others couldn't resist. The temptation was too strong. They learned the magic, and they used it to harm others. The Quran tells us, "But they learned from them that by which they could cause separation between a man and his wife, but they do not harm anyone through it except by permission of Allah." This is a critical lesson. Magic has no power except what Allah allows. It is not independent. It is not divine. It is a test of faith. Those who learned magic from Harut and Marut thought they had gained power. But in reality, they had lost something far more precious: their faith, their hereafter. The Quran continues, "And they knew that whoever purchased it would have no share in the hereafter. They traded eternal paradise for temporary worldly power. What a devastating loss." But the story of sorcery in Islam doesn't end in Babylon. It reaches its climax in the courts of the most powerful tyrant in history, Pharaoh, the blazing sun over Egypt, the Nile flowing through a land of oppression, and in the royal palace, a man who declared himself God. Pharaoh ruled Egypt with absolute power. He enslaved the children of Israel. He murdered their newborn sons. He spread tyranny across the land. But then came a voice from the wilderness, a voice that would shake the throne of Pharaoh forever. Moses, peace be upon him. Allah commanded Moses to go to Pharaoh and deliver a simple message: let my people go. But Pharaoh was not a man who accepted commands. He was a man who gave them. According to Surah Taha, verses 42 to 48, when Moses approached Pharaoh and showed him the signs of Allah, Pharaoh's response was not submission. It was arrogance. He gathered his magicians, the best sorcerers in all of Egypt, men who had perfected their craft over decades, men who could make the impossible seem real. Pharaoh announced a grand gathering, a public showdown, Moses versus the magicians. The day arrived. Thousands gathered in the open field. The magicians stood in rows, confident, powerful, ready. Moses stood alone, a shepherd with a staff. The magicians threw their ropes and staffs first. The Quran describes this moment in Surah Taha, verse 66. It seemed to him from their magic that their ropes and staffs were moving swiftly. The crowd gasped. The ground appeared to be covered with slithering serpents. The illusion was so powerful, even Moses felt a flicker of fear in his heart. But Allah reassured him. Allah said in Surah Taha, verse 68, "Do not fear. Indeed, it is you who are superior." And then came the moment that changed everything. Moses threw down his staff. The Quran states in Surah Ash-Shu'ara, verse 45, "Then Moses threw his staff, and at once it devoured what they were falsifying." This was not an illusion. This was not a trick. This was the power of Allah manifesting in front of thousands. The magicians, who had spent their entire lives mastering deception, immediately recognized the difference. They knew magic, and they knew this was not magic. In Surah Taha, verse 70, the Quran tells us, "So the magicians fell down in prostration. They said, 'We have believed in the Lord of Aaron and Moses.'" Imagine the scene. The most powerful sorcerers in Egypt, hired by Pharaoh to humiliate Moses, now bowing on the ground, declaring faith in the God of Moses. Pharaoh was enraged. He threatened them with torture and death. He would cut off their hands and feet. He would crucify them on palm trees. But the magicians did not waver. They had seen truth. And once you see truth, nothing else matters. They responded, as recorded in Surah Taha, verse 72. "We will never prefer you over what has come to us of clear proofs. So decree whatever you are to decree. You can only decree for this worldly life." These men, who moments ago practiced dark sorcery, became martyrs of faith. They chose death over disbelief. They chose Allah over Pharaoh. This is the power of truth. It transforms even the darkest hearts. But why does Islam condemn sorcery so severely? Why is it considered one of the major sins? Because sorcery is not just about tricks and illusions. It is about faith. It is about who you put your trust in. The Quran states in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 102, "And they knew that whoever purchased it would have no share in the hereafter. And wretched is that for which they sold themselves, if they only knew." Sorcery destroys families. The Quran specifically mentions that magic was used to separate husband and wife, to plant seeds of doubt, hatred, and mistrust between loved ones. It destroys communities. People become suspicious of each other. Relationships break down. Society collapses into fear and paranoia. And most importantly, it destroys the soul. Because when you rely on magic, you stop relying on Allah. But there is protection. There is always protection in Islam. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us how to protect ourselves from sorcery and the evil eye. In Sahih Muslim, it is narrated that the Prophet used to recite the last 2 chapters of the Quran, Surah Al-Falaq and Surah An-Nas, every night before sleeping. These are called the Mu'awwidhatayn, the chapters of seeking refuge. Surah Al-Falaq specifically mentions, "And from the evil of those who blow into knots." This refers to sorcerers who tie knots and blow on them while casting spells. The Prophet also taught us to recite Ayat al-Kursi, the throne verse from Surah Al-Baqarah. In Sahih Bukhari, it is narrated that whoever recites it before sleeping, Allah appoints an angel to protect them until morning. These are not superstitions. These are divine protections given to us by the Creator Himself. Today, in the modern world, many people dismiss magic as outdated superstition. They don't believe it exists. But Islam teaches us otherwise. Magic is real. Its effects are real. But its power is limited. It cannot change destiny. It cannot overpower the will of Allah. Others fall into the opposite extreme. They become obsessed with magic and evil eye. They see it in every misfortune. They visit fortune tellers and sorcerers seeking solutions. Both extremes are dangerous. The balanced Islamic approach is this: acknowledge that magic exists, but trust in Allah completely. Use the protections He has given you and never seek help from anyone other than Him. The story of Harut and Marut teaches us that knowledge can be a test. Not all knowledge is beneficial. Some knowledge leads to destruction. The story of Pharaoh's magicians teaches us that truth always prevails. No matter how powerful the illusion, reality will eventually shine through. And when it does, even the most hardened hearts can transform. And the Quranic warnings teach us that our faith is precious. Don't trade it for temporary worldly gains. Don't compromise it for fleeting power. Sorcery promises control, but it delivers slavery. Slavery to devils, slavery to sin, slavery to fear. Islam offers something far greater: freedom through submission to Allah, power through faith, protection through divine remembrance. So the next time you feel afraid, remember the magicians of Pharaoh. They saw truth and they chose it, even when it meant death. Remember Moses, standing alone against an army of sorcerers, armed only with faith. And remember this verse from Surah Yunus, verse 81. When they had thrown, Moses said, "What you have brought is magic. Indeed, Allah will expose its worthlessness. Indeed, Allah does not amend the work of corrupters." Truth always defeats falsehood. Light always conquers darkness. And faith always triumphs over magic. Hold on to your faith. Protect it with the words of Allah. And never, ever compromise it for anything this world offers. Because in the end, magic fades. Power crumbles. But faith? Faith lasts forever. May Allah protect us from the evil of sorcery, from the whispers of devils, and from every harm seen and unseen. Ameen.